Peace. What's up, everybody? All right, so I'm out here in Miami. This week I'm doing a show with an EDM artist known as Kashmir. I'm playing at the Ultra Music Festival, and I've been rehearsing with a bunch of orchestra players this week. I'm actually music director for a small orchestra. We got a violin, viola, cello, sitar, that's cool, trombone, flute, and taiko drums. That's the lineup. And I gotta tell you what, it's been so much fun to get back into my classical roots and actually work with musicians that are really well trained. That's super fun. But anyways, as I was talking with one of the musicians this morning in rehearsal, the question of spirit guides came up. And the question was, do I think, this guy asked me, do I think it's real if you meet a spirit guide or a spirit animal in a lucid dream? Is that something that's real? And I told him, of course it's real. It's real if you think it's real, and it's real if you believe it's real. My personal belief is that spirit is more real than material, because it's the spirit that manifests in the material. What's up, helicopter? But it's the spirit which manifests in the material. So that everything spiritual has more reality than anything physical. The physical is the expression of the spirit. So if you're in a lucid dream and you're living inside the spiritual reality at that point, because it's not tangible, it's a spirit reality, then what you experience in there is entirely real, in the same way that this reality is real. You see, as I sit here on this beach, these grains of sand, I don't know if you can see this, look at this, grains of sand. Each one of these grains of sand is so tiny. I don't even know how to estimate how small an atom is. But let's just look at how small this grain of sand is. Now, when you look at any atom, which means any grain of sand, any part of my body, any piece of my clothing, any of that water, any of the sky, every single atom is made up of 99% space. So 1% material, 99% space. And the probability of these atoms coming together in the first place to form something called material is so astronomically crazy that the evidence, the scientific evidence, goes towards the idea of design. And this is happening on purpose, not by accident. Every single atom that collapses from the infinite wave of light into one single particle for me to be able to perceive with my eyes, that alone is evidence for consciousness, evidence for spirit. Quantum science knows that every single atom, every single particle of light behaves as both waves and particles. It's not quite a true definition because it's still viewing the one reality through the view of duality. So instead of seeing that particles and waves are the same thing, science says that that light behaves as waves and particles. But what they're really getting at in quantum science is they're trying to figure out what determines which form the atom takes. What determines the moment that the atom goes from an infinite wave into a particle? What determines that? And the answer is consciousness. The observer, you, the spirit within the physical. The spirit is what determines that the infinite wave of light becomes something material. So the real world is made up of spirit. It appears to be made up of physical matter, but the physical matter is only an expression of the spirit. It's another form. So your dream world or your lucid dreaming world, also known as the astral world, the astral realm, or the astral dimension, these places are just as real as this place because it's where our consciousness resides. And it's where we will actually go every night. And beyond the astral dimension is where we will go when we leave our physical bodies. There's no such thing as death. There's only transformation. I believe it's Einstein who said that energy cannot be destroyed, it can only be transferred. So if you're made of energy, you cannot be destroyed. You can only be transferred into another form of consciousness. All of this to say that spirit guides are real, because spirit guides will come and communicate with you in more ways than this one reality. My spirit guides communicate with me here in this reality. They have also communicated with me in the reality of my dreams and lucid dreaming, or the astral realm. And they have also communicated with me in deep states of meditation, which is another form of altered consciousness, when you get to a deep, deep level of meditation. So spirit guides, they can approach you in more ways than one. And when they approach you in the physical, they don't necessarily come in a physical form. They just come, the information comes to you. Have you ever seen 11:11 on a clock at the exact right time? Have you ever had that? Or maybe it's repeating numbers. For me, one of my favorite numbers is 108. And every once in a while, I'll be driving along the street. I'll be thinking of a certain thought, and at that moment, a car will drive by and the license plate will read 108. And it just lets me know that I'm right where I'm supposed to be. I'm right where I belong. It's these kind of synchronicities. That's how spirit manifests and moves through the material world. But in the spiritual world, otherwise known as the astral realm, the same you that's here in the physical is the same you that's there in the astral, except you don't have your body. You're in pure spirit form, which means that your thoughts are manifesting quickly, which is why in your dreams, as soon as you have anxiety, boom, visions of anxiety. But also in your dreams, as soon as you have feelings of peace, boom, visions of peace. So it matters what's going through your mind. I even like that sentence, it matters, meaning your spirit becomes matter. Anyways, I could go on forever and ever, so I'm just gonna cut it off here. Spirit guides are real. If you've had experience with them, then you know. And don't worry about the people that doubt you, because they just haven't had experiences. Their level of consciousness has not awakened to that depth. And it's not to be judged, but it just means that not everybody's on the same path. So, if you're getting messages from your spirit guides, follow those. I highly recommend you journal them and you make them known and you remember them so that you can actually absorb the message and apply it in your life. But with that being said, I'm going to wrap it up. Thanks for listening. Pop over to my website, IamOnenO.com. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, share my stuff with a friend if you really like what's happening here. But until I see you again along the journey, oneness in sound. I am OnenO. Peace out, y'all.